Good afternoon, dear ladies and gentlemen. Sorry about being a bit hectic after lunch, but we have changed a little bit our program, so I'm going to split my time between one of my Hungarian colleague or partner, and I try to stick to these 5 minutes that I'm here to present something about which is quite an abandoned part of this conference and quite an abandoned part of smart cities when we talk about smart cities. We mostly tend to think about that smart cities is about technology. That's something what the mainstream is pushing us forward. We know that smart cities cannot be without technologies, new technologies, but and obviously high-tech companies are the ones who are pushing forward this agenda, but there is something hidden in a bit deeper layer of the society, which technology only just reflecting. So when we talk about smart cities, we cannot do only talk about technology without talking about smart governance. Because as we see how technology is changing our world, it is obvious that technology is changing our relationship. It's changing the relationship of companies and their workers, software users, and of course citizens and their governments and their local governments. We do expect a certain flexibility and a certain variety how we would like to engage with our local government, how we would like to engage with our local politicians, how we are engaging with our public institutions. And that's some sort of an inner drive to reduce some sort of old bureaucratic building that we have inherited from the former paper world. We know now that it's as easy to get in contact with somebody as picking up the phone or writing an email, and somebody has to respond at the end of the other line, at the other end of the line. And we are also live partly on Facebook, which we are get used to that we will use these communication tools in our daily communicational activities. This is a sort of a behavioral change that we have gone through. We know that it is working. But when we, as citizens, want to engage with local authorities or public institutions, we see that this kind of behavioral transformation did not happen on their side. And it's a false assumption that only technology will make them to change. Of course, technology creates situations when they are forced or they need to adapt to certain changes. And of course, somebody always be by the other end of the line. But there is another resource, and companies tend to think about their users, that they are a valuable resource that they can use in designing, testing, and even delivering or producing new services. That's what open source mainly about. When the users start to design, for example, softwares, and they are also part of making it into a reality. When we talk about public administration behavioral change, I have to tell you that there are some new models. I don't know if there's anybody who has heard about co-design, co-production, or co-delivery of public services. Please raise your hands if anybody have heard about it. Yeah, it's not a wide-known notion in the central and eastern part of Europe, but at least in the UK and mostly in the western part of Europe or in the United States, it has a strong reason. Oh, thank you, but I don't need it now. They have a strong reason why to involve citizens. Companies has a strong reason why to involve citizens, because they are reducing their cost. They have chances to get real user feedback. And it's true if we are a public institution and we would like to design, let's say, a smart public service, many times, or most of the times, companies who are delivering some technology, they are not enough trained to find the answers for those questions that will citizens like it. So the new public services, let's call it smart services, they do need citizens. And not only this possibility to involve citizens is not only on the level of testing applications and putting back some feedback. It should be involved early from the beginning, because citizens are the ones who are using these services. They are the end users, and we have seen many, many crappy public services, digital public services in Hungary, how they have been created as a worst example by not engaging and not involving the end users. So, and what I wanted to say is that from this position, any kind of smart strategy has to involve citizens, not only by testing only just one product or tool, but from the beginning. Because we citizens living in wherever we are, on the highest level, we're going to be the end users of these services. Whether the local government is making benefit of selling some sort of data, some sort of public data or not. But at least to bridge this trust gap that we have also in Central and Eastern Europe, this kind of trust gap, which is the decreasing of trust into political institutions, the decreasing of trust towards politicians, local politicians, and even higher level politicians, or any kind of public institutions. It is a decreasing level of trust now. We have to somehow involve more directly, in a meaningful partnership way, citizens. And the smart city approach offers a huge variety of these possibilities. So at the end users will not only feel that, okay, this is an additional service that the local government started to use, but I'm part of it. And there is one really important psychological benefit of this, not only cost benefit, because it's going to be a higher quality service at the end. But the psychological benefit is that we will feel that it's also ours, that we have been, when we feel that we are part of it, we are part of making it, we are part of designing of it, we will take care of it. Whether if it's a physical object on the street in front of your house, whether if it's a service designed to serve the citizens' information needs. So, and thankfully, at least in Hungary, we have an approach towards designing smart city strategies, which is involving smart governance. But of course, it's up to the initiators of this strategy, whether they are companies or whether they are local governments, to adopt as much as they think that they can deliver, as they think that they can manage to have this behavioral change in the public sphere, in the businesses, and of course in the field of citizens. So I hope in the discussion we will have some chance to talk about this as well. And well, thanks for your attention. I'm giving the words to Mr. Tarr Zoltán.
Actually, the presentation which was on the screen, that's I couldn't read that, I'm sorry. I could read it, but I couldn't pronounce the previous presentation. Thank you very much for this opportunity to talk to you very briefly. And the way we decided to split this time, we would like to, it's also a sign, because we would like to show you that working together is important. And we know each other with Csaba for quite some time, and also with Sándor, who is sitting in among the audience. And we all realize that cooperation and sharing ideas is very important. I'm working for a company which is the second largest telecommunication company in Hungary, with the vast infrastructure at our hands, and we are trying to use this infrastructure to provide services for the people. And I don't want to talk about a concrete solution today. There were many concrete and fantastic ideas throughout this conference, which we could get to know of. But I would like to talk about some experience which came out of providing or trying to provide concrete solutions. This is a very concrete pilot. Actually, what we are doing, it's a kind of variation of smart lighting. You have heard about it many times. Maybe the unique thing about this project is that we installed an EV charger, an electronic vehicle charger, onto the public lighting system. That seems to be an interesting, a new development, but probably there are some cases very similar to that in Slovakia or in Czech as well as in Poland. There are some other concrete applications we are using and we are trying to take to the communities. We have a smart city application and we are developing it so that it can generate data from IoT and also from social networking, so that the mayors could get a dashboard for their services, knowing that they are in a constant campaign every day as they are working, so they need a lot of information for that. Let me share with you some experience and some observations. These came first as frustrations and hesitation, but I tried to formulate it in a much more positive way for you, and I hope that they will help. As we were working towards a smart city and trying to work with local governments, we realized that, as Csaba just said, smart city is much more a social and communal enterprise, leading to a new methodology of living together, working together, doing things together. It's important for the individual and for the community. So it is, in a way, especially in our region, maybe it's also, smart city is more a development of the society as a whole, with the help and with the support and with the use of technology. And as I realized that, it became very clear that it is sometimes very, very bad when, as a technological company, an IT company, we just run on the cities and try to sell them solutions. They get scared. Even in some cities, they already have some staff person who deals with these companies because they have so many offers. Every day, companies are approaching them with offers. So they have a way to deal with them. And I realized more and more that cooperation, thinking together, a consultative presence from vendors and from IT solution providers is the key for a successful cooperation. I also think, and we also have realized that, especially working with smaller cities. In Hungary, there are 3,100 cities or places to live, I forget the settlements, yes. And out of that, more than 3,000 are small, which means that they have less population than 60,000, which is a great and huge number. And these smaller cities, especially, I'm sure that there are plenty smaller cities in Slovakia and Czech Republic as well as in Poland. Smaller cities need a totally different approach to smart city. And we realized that one of the very important things is that these cities only can function well together if we look at them as regions, many more cities, more settlements working together, trying to provide services together, trying to find solutions together. Another observation is that in spite of that, this conference has this title that technology versus humanity, I think this is very true, but at the same time it is also true that technology is there to help humanity, to get equal access to services. And that's very important to support, especially those who are less privileged throughout technology, so that they can reach out, they can reach services equally to those who live in better settings. And a last very important thing is that cities need, smaller cities especially, need viable business models. If you just bring them solutions, that's not enough. They need business models. They need ways how they can finance the solution, how they can maintain the solution. This is a slide I'm sure many of you are familiar with, how to live in a smart city. Planning is very important. I don't want to talk about too much about this because time is running. I just want to highlight that planning is important, and as part of the planning, finding smart solutions for financing is a crucial thing. And we cannot cannot get a smart city concept to success without finding smart ways to finance it and to maintain it. And my last slide is I just collected some humble recommendations for our deliberation and to take away because I think that especially cities and smaller towns living outside or around the borders of countries, it is even more difficult to work regionally because of the difficulties we have heard in the previous presentation. And I find it very important to help the citizens, to help the people, and try to get these stumbling blocks away so that people can live and technology could help people to live happily and to live successfully in their lives. Thank you very much.
Thank you.